Just want to let you know this podcast is sponsored in part by Functional Sports Performance. FSPIrvine.com. Get in the best shape of your life.
All right, welcome back. This is Get It with Stephen Basita. And again, we are in my bedroom for these as, like everyone, being affected by the coronavirus. I've had to shut my offices down, and I'm in the process of now having to move my offices. So for now, we're in my home office. Hope you guys enjoy this one. So today, I really want to hit on business, your job, and what happens, we're all living in this coronavirus period of time right now. How can we progress and make sure that we're not going to have a relapse of the mistakes or the issues that we're having? Basically, what does the post-coronavirus look like? And then how do we really help ourselves? Again, your job and career or your company or your side hustle, whatever it may be, right? So how do we get back into this post-coronavirus world, which we're not part of yet? We're still living in the lockdown. I'm here in Southern California. We're definitely locked down until, I believe it's March 31st, but I think they just said they could extend that until April 19th or something like that. So we'll find out soon, but owning multiple businesses, and my businesses are affected. So look, the government assistance programs, I'm sure are going to be great. We'll do whatever we need to. But really, I think the biggest thing is, how do we have it so that we have a cushion financially? So if this happens again, that we can better protect ourselves, right? We live in a very debt-driven world where people don't think about this kind of stuff, right? I can speak for myself here. I'm almost 40 years old. Never in my life has this happened, and I would have never thought this was possible. A virus shutting down the entire world. The entire country is in lockdown. Again, I don't care about the politics of it. Okay, that's irrelevant. We live in a world that has been shut down. Most countries have been shut down. Okay, so I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, countries around the world have been shut down. That's the world we live in. All right, so how are we going to better protect ourselves? How do we better protect ourselves? And a big part of that comes down to finances. How did we manage our finances in the first place? Again, we live in America. We have a lot of money. Even, to be honest, our poor people are rich compared to other poor people in other countries. And I know because I've been to other countries. I've done missionary work in other countries. I've lived in other countries for short stints of time as a missionary when I was younger. Listen, our poor people, look, poverty sucks, but our poor people are rich compared to poor people in other countries, man. Poor people in other countries, they're not going to a soup kitchen and getting food, right? If they don't make people aren't giving them money or giving them food or giving them help, they're not eating. They're not doing well. Other countries, people are dying of hunger every day, right? World poverty and hunger is still a major issue that's not discussed much. So look, here in America, we're very blessed. So let's go back to, personal finances, right? We should all have budgets, right? My wife and I, we have a budget in our home, and we operate our home as a business, okay? What are the expenses that we have that we need? What are the expenses that are luxuries? What are expenses that we don't need, right? And we go through, we kind of cut and shift all the time. One of the big things that we've done over the years, though, is we went and really were smart about cutting out things that we didn't need much and we didn't use much. So what me and my wife did is, first of all, we don't watch much TV, right? We just don't. So I used to bounce our checkbook every week. And this is a couple of years ago. My wife now does it. I had to shift some things. So she's learning what's being spent and not whatnot. Now, no disrespect to my wife. We come from very different backgrounds. I'm a saver. I'm very frugal. All right. I don't care. There's years I've made lots of money. There's years I didn't make much money. I'm frugal through and through. It doesn't matter. I grew up low income, middle low income. I'm not trying to sell you guys on some amazing story here. When I moved to California, I lived in my car on and off for the first 3 months. Slept on floors, slept on couches. I didn't have a place to live. Okay. And I didn't have money. I came from, again, an environment. My parents loved me and they helped how they could. But look, I'm not trying to sell a story here. My parents not balling out. I wasn't balling out. And when I hit my debt quick, man. I paid all of that off. And then I saved a lot. So I married my wife. You know, we both have different financial areas. And so we just went through and started paying off my wife's debt and cutting things we didn't need. So there was a time where, look, I'm not going to lie. We don't watch TV much. It's just not something we do. We do have Netflix and we watch Netflix. That's great. So we cut our cable. Our cable is like $250 a month. A month. Even if it was $100 a month, that's $1,200 a year. For what? We're not watching much. Not worth it. Look, all the shows we want to watch, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, like all those things combined cost like $40. Okay. So look, we have Amazon Prime, which has their streaming service, and we have Netflix, and I think we have Hulu. It doesn't cost that much. And Hulu was like $8.99 a month. Netflix is $12.99 a month. Amazon's part of my business Prime thing, so we get it for free. It doesn't cost me anything. So look, we kept that bill down, right? So, but it was about $200 a month pretty easily. So we cut it down from $200 to $30. Okay, so now we're saving $170 a month. Again, on something that we don't really use, right? And so going back to what are we using? What are we paying things for, right? We have a 529 plan for my daughter. For those of you who don't have kids or don't know what a 529 plan is, a 529 plan is a tax-free, money goes into this account for your kid and they get a draw from it when they're in college and there's no taxes, right? So it pays for their education. So we put money into our daughter's 529 plan every month, X amount of dollars, right? So when she gets to school, the hope is that most of her school is going to be paid for from that 529 plan. I'm not sitting here trying to think my daughter's getting some high Division I scholarship for a sport, right? I don't live in that world of thinking that she's going to qualify, right? I'm pretending that she's going to qualify for nothing. I'm pretending that she's not going to be academically strong enough to get academic money. She's not going to be athletic enough to get athletic money. Like I'm living in this boat of we're paying for 4 years or more of school. So saving for it, and we started saving for it right when she was born, which is something that's really smart and wise on our part, right? So we put money towards that. We put money towards our bills, right? Our mortgage, our HOA, cars, cell phones, all that kind of stuff, right? We try and wrap up things that we can. But the biggest thing is like all that stuff that we don't need, right? Like obviously we need phones. That's just a reality. So we have to pay for our phones. We need internet. So we pay for internet. We need food, gas, shelter. So we wrap up like what are our must-have expenses here? Same with my businesses, right? And again, going back to business, same with your businesses. What's your must-have expenses to operate? What's your, in-home, like your could need, maybe, instead of need, maybe your want, like your want expenses here. Same with business. And then what are your luxury things over here, right? Which is like, obviously I definitely want this. I don't need it by any means. It's not in this middle category. It's just a luxury item. If you manage your home finances that way and you manage your business that way and you save, things will be easier, right? Like at the end of the day, they'll just be easier. You'll have a financial cushion. And you should be looking in business and personal to have a 3-month financial cushion saved. So for your business, as your business gets going, you're not going to be able to store money right away. But when you are able to start taking money from your business, put away money, store money, make sure money is saved. Do yourself that favor. You put little bits of money every month away and just start storing it, and have that 3 to 4 month storage. So if something like this happens again, you have storage. So many people just spend. Oh, I have it, I'm going to spend it. I have it, I'm going to spend it. My wife is like that, and she's had to change in life, and she's not always happy with me about it, believe me. But it's given us a sense of not being in that fight or flight all the time, right? Like the reality is, like, if this whole coronavirus thing goes on for 3, 4, 5 months, there's very few people that are going to be immune to that, right? It's just, we all know, like, there's very few businesses that can be immune to that. You can't, I'm not telling you to plan for a year. I'm telling you to plan for a couple months. Get 2, 3 months, have it set aside. It'll do you a huge solid favor. So one of my gyms is currently, we're closing it and relocating. Great news is we had a financial cushion strong enough so that we could close it, pay for all those expenses, pay for the moving U-Hauls, the storage units, for our employees to still be working. Maybe not the same hours they were, but they're still getting paychecks, and we're able to relocate to a new facility, and financially we'll make it, which is a huge thing, right? You want to make it. So we're not going to have anything after. We're going to be starting from scratch in a lot of ways. We will take loans, as any business should when you're trying to grow, build, progress, all those important things, right? We will be as smart as possible. We'll take the smart loan that we need, and we'll continue to move and operate and function and grow. And, once you've gotten to a spot where you've found how to be successful within your business, whatever it may be, you just replicate and keep replicating and moving that ball forward. And we will. We've thankfully got an amazing team. We've worked very hard to being able to get to where we were. We'll get there again, and we'll move the ball forward. That's part of life. That's what we do. And to say that, no, we can only, we always spend all of our money, so we have nothing. I mean, if we hadn't had a small cushion, man, we wouldn't be having this conversation now. Period. Game over. Gym closed. Employees gone. You guys get to see me every day. All right, I'm gonna have to find something else to do. And I will say too that there was a job opportunity that I was going to step into on a part-time basis, which was great for what me and my family, where our situation was, and kind of what I was looking into doing some other things, branch out a little bit in some other areas. And this hit, and that job opportunity is gone now. And from my understanding, it won't even be available again until September, October, and that's fine. I still have my companies. We'll make the changes necessary. We'll survive. We'll move forward. The sad thing, though, is I have so many people I know and stories I've been hearing of people that this was it. Like, this was the killer. They couldn't even manage to be out of business for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Couldn't be out of business. 2 days would have been a strain for them. 2 weeks. They can't do it. And there's going to be a lot of these businesses. We're going to hear a lot of these stories in the next few weeks, months, probably the next couple of years. We're going to hear about how this event impacted businesses and people to an extent. We're going to see another recession. Property values dropping. I mean, we're going to see a lot of bad things. And we're going to see a lot of people in bad boats again. Now, I lived through the big recession we had in 2007, 2008. I had moved to California. I was living here when it happened. I was actually trying to open up my very first gym. And I was blessed. I had a couple of great mentors, both in the housing industry at the time. And both of them told me, as me and at the time my business partner were about to sign a lease, found a building, everything. Both of them, same day, told me and my business partner, do not do it. This is the worst possible time. What we're seeing right now is bad. You're going to need to wait a couple months. And in waiting a couple months, we'll see if it stabilizes or we'll see if it goes worse. But you need to wait a couple months. So me and my business partner did. And that airplane came crashing down. So, the blessing for us was that we were able to than save ourselves a gigantic headache. So what happened during that time for us? It was very easy. We trained on fields, parks, schools. I went and purchased just some equipment that I took with me. My business partner did the same thing. We were doing boot camps in parks. We were going to people's houses, training in their garages. I found a couple of gyms I could rent space from, which was excellent. I have no risk, no liability. If they go out of business, it's not going to hurt my business, right? My business is mobile. I can move it as needed. And I was still going to people's houses, going to parks, training teams at schools, all that stuff, right? So during that time, when everybody else was going out of business and things were collapsing, I was thriving, growing. I was able to charge very, very minimal prices too, because I just had myself to take care of. I'm not that expensive. It's easy for me to take care of myself. I lived in a home with a bunch of my buddies. And although in retrospect, saying what the rent was, it was like $2,500 a month plus utilities for a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom in Newport Beach. We lived pretty close to the beach. Yeah, that was a big pill to swallow, right? There were 5 of us living in that place. Okay, so now all of a sudden, it's $500 a pop, right? 500, 1,000, 1,500 to $2,500. So for $2,500 a month, I was living next to the beach, surfing every day. It was great. On top of that, we all chipped in like an extra $100 a month for the utilities. None of us were even home that much. We all worked, right? So yes, it sucks having 5 grown men in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath place. We have lots of fun stories. We have a lot of great memories from it. I do remember at times, it kind of sucked, especially when you're trying to date somebody. For me, I like to, I would date girls, and there inherently were a few weird conversations I had to have, but it is what it is, right? So we were young. We were in our, young 20s, mid 20s. It wasn't that big of a deal. At that time in my life, I wasn't trying to necessarily get married right away. And I was able to build my financial cushion. So the great news is, lived in this place, lots of us in there, cheap to live, cost me $650 a month, which was nothing. Money for food, gas, paid off my bills. So when everybody else was really struggling, I was thriving. I could charge $25 or $30 or $40 a session, right, for private training, which is, at the time, it was like 60, 65, $70. I could undercut it easily. And, I didn't have all the overhead of a gym, right? So it didn't matter to me. I not only did I thrive, I grew exponentially. And I was able to do a lot of things in that. One of the things I did is I would go watch games, all kinds of sports games in my area. And I would tell parents, look, for the next year, now, and let me also say, I go find the kids that weren't playing, right? All the kids that were just sitting on the bench the whole time. They wanted to play. I would watch and see who those parents were. And I would find out who those parents were. I would go talk to those parents, and I said, hey, look, I know your son didn't play. This is pretty common. And they'd be like, yeah, he's, just kind of a bench warmer, or daughter. Like, hey, look, let me train your kid. This is what I charge. I will keep track of every check you give me, every session. If they're not starting next year, I'll give you a full refund. I did that with 7 kids. I wrote 0 refunds. All 7 kids, I was training 2-3 times a week. And I was not just training them for like 45 minutes, man. They weren't getting no week training. I was training these kids for like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours a session. I was killing them. I was figuring out where all their weaknesses were day one, and we were grinding. And I got kids that were motivated. If they weren't motivated, I would just told the parents, hey, look, your kid's not motivated. I'm clearly not going to be a good fit for him. And, here's your money back. I know it's not going to work out. I'm going to save myself the time. I found kids that were motivated. They worked their tails off. And all 7 of them, not only did they start the next year on varsity for their respective high schools, most of them were impact players immediately. Coaches were bewildered. I got 2 high school contracts out of that deal. 2. Training entire teams, getting $80, $100, $150 an hour. On top of that, because those kids went from being bench players to starters on their teams, word of mouth spread like wildfire. I ended up getting 20 new clients out of that. All these parents talk to each other, and they're like, hey, why is your kid starting now? They were awful last year. They didn't play a minute. I was like, oh, this guy came and talked to us. He's a strength coach. He did speed, agility, plyometric strength, all this stuff. And our kids are in fantastic shape. They're motivated in new ways. They're able to do things physically they weren't before, which gives them confidence they didn't have before. And now they're out there and they're crushing it. Best thing I did for myself. And because of that, Now, all of a sudden, my business that was very small in the beginning, like any business probably will be when you're starting up, it'll be smaller, was growing like wildfire. Now I was charging more too. The recession was starting to go, the remnants of the recession at this point were overall pretty much done. There was definitely a little bit of lingering that happened, but overall it wasn't, people were starting to get back into the world, make money again, jobs were coming back, that kind of stuff. And then people want their kids to be well, to do well, to be successful, right? All of those things, and they'll pay for it. So instead of charging 20, 25 bucks, now I'm charging 35, 40, 45 bucks a session, 50 bucks a session for private training. And then if I was doing group training, which a lot of parents were like, yeah, I want my kid working out with these 2, 3 other kids. Okay, 30 bucks a kid. Well, if I have 3, 4 kids making 90, 120, maybe 150 bucks in an hour, hour 15, maybe in an hour and a half. Well, before, I was making $20 in an hour and a half. But let's just say that that's pretty fair, right? Most of my training sessions are about an hour and a half. So I went from making 20 hours or $20 an hour and a half, right? So I do 4 lessons, 5 lessons a day. Well, okay, so if they're all 90 minutes and that's not included, I have to drive. I'm here in Southern California. You're not getting anywhere quickly, okay? So it's pretty fair. You should have about 5 lessons in a day, maybe 6 lessons in a day. Okay, so, and they're each an hour and a half, right? So I'm training 6 sessions a day. That's 9 hours in my day of training. Okay, so it's I made 120 bucks for the day. All right, that's not including the 4 hours of driving. So now we're looking at 13, maybe even 14 hours. And that wasn't uncommon for me in the beginning. And because like I said, okay, I make 120 bucks a day, right? 5 days a week. So I'm making, let's just say I'm making 100 bucks a day. So 500 bucks. Most of it was cash. I did record and pay my taxes appropriately, but in the beginning I wasn't making much, and most of my stuff was written off as expenses because it was. Weekends I made money, and weekends I did well, right? Weekends I usually cleaned up. Usually I'd make about 250, 300 bucks on a Saturday and then also on a Sunday. I don't always work much on Sundays though. I like to have a little bit of downtime to recover. So I'd cut my day in half. So I'd make a couple $100 on Saturday, $100 on Sunday. Okay. Well, a year later, I'm not making $20 an hour anymore. I'm making 120 or 150 typically. And again, we're not doing hour and a half anymore. Typically I didn't need to. They were about an hour, maybe an hour and 15. Okay, so now I'm making 150 bucks. So take the same amount of time. Let's just say I did 6 sessions. So before I was making 120, right? Now I'm making 900 a day. It's a big jump. I was making 120 a day. Now I'm making 900 a day. So let's just say, and again, on the weekends, I was making much more. I was making usually like 1,500. And on Sundays, I'd still do a half day. I was making 750. Before I was making 100. Now I'm making 750. Saturdays I'm making 200. I'm making 1,500. So, you think about it. Let's just say I was only making 500 bucks during the week, and I was making 300 bucks on the weekend, so I was making 800 bucks a week. Fair to say, well, now I'm making 900 bucks a day on the weekdays, right? 9, 18, 27, 36, 4,500 bucks during the. I'm making 1,500 bucks. Sorry, I'm making $6,000 in a week, $7,000 in a week. Well, let's multiply that. There's 4 weeks in a month. It's a lot of money. I did well. I paid off all my debt. I got into a nicer house, less roommates, paying a lot more, living on the beach in a very nice place still, Newport Beach. Eventually I moved into even a nicer house with only a couple roommates, paying a lot more, growing my businesses, had employees, now paying for them, so I was smart financially, and then I was able to grow, right? But you got to be smart financially. You got to know what are your good expenses, what are your bad expenses. So going back to the business side of things, look, small business owners and even mid-sized businesses, a lot of times we outsource our marketing and advertising. In the beginning, you kind of have to, because you don't necessarily have not most people have a budget for that, have it in-house. But what I will say is this, hold them accountable. Before you go into business, You need to understand marketing and advertising yourself. You need to understand SEO. Okay. You need to understand social media. SEO is your search engine optimization. It's how you rank on Google, for instance. You need to understand those things. Understand how Yelp works real well. Understand, again, a basic of marketing and advertising. If you don't, go learn a little bit. Speak to some experts. Read some books. Spend some time learning. If you don't, and I'm going to give you $100,000 lesson right now. I wasted over $100,000 with not getting one client. $100,000, 0 clients, waste of money. Okay? That's a real story. I didn't waste it in a year, but over the course of 5 years, I wasted $100,000, about $20,000 a year, and that is a very accurate number. Same problem with every marketing and advertising company. They would sell me the moon. Oh, we can do this for you, that for you. We'll do this, that. It's $500 a month, right? The price of a couple clients. Okay, cool. Well, if I get a couple clients, then it's a great thing, right? They lock me in a 6-month deal. Boom, you get this price, 6 months, sign the paperwork, off the races you go. I knew nothing about marketing and advertising. I'm a strength conditioning coach. I know how to train people and help them lose weight, get in a better shape. I know how to make athletes elite. I'm also a basketball coach. I know how to make you a better basketball player. I don't know a thing about marketing and advertising. What am I doing? It's easy. Wasting money is exactly what I'm doing. I am wasting all kinds of money, wasting my time, my energy. I got to a point I was so sick and tired of the same thing. I cut every marketing company. And I told them, look, you didn't give me one client. I'm not paying you another month. If you want to go the legal route, we can go the legal route. I have no problem with that. I canceled my cards, everything. Boom, done. Paying no more money. I then took $1,000 and I invested it into learning about marketing and advertising. I spent time, energy, and money to better myself, better my knowledge base. I became really fundamentally sound in understanding the basics of SEO, social media, marketing, and advertising. And I ran with it. And now when I'm talking to companies that want to have me pay them for marketing and advertising, it's easy conversation. Easy. I would just ask them 4 or 5 basic questions. Based on those answers, it was always a no from me. Say, I'm sorry, I can't do that. One of the things I always told companies too, because they really like try and get you, Yelp's great at this. And I've had to tell Yelp the same thing every 6 months because a new person calls me. And then just say, look, I'm more than happy to let you earn my business. See, what I do for my clients is I give them a week of free training so that we can earn their business. We don't have them sign a contract. We don't have any paperwork of a card or anything. We take no money, $0. And from that, we say, look, you get your week free. If you love us, great. We're going to come up with a plan with you. And these are our prices. If you don't, no hard feelings. I didn't want you to pay for a week that you weren't going to like. Same with basketball. Everybody gets at least a couple of days to come and try out for free, all that kind of stuff. So for the marketing companies, I would just simply tell them, I want a free week. So now, because I understand, look, I had to take a lot of lessons. I know what I do as far as giving people free service so that they understand, like, look, I'm the real deal. I'm going to help you. I would just tell marketing companies the same thing. Look, if you're this confident in your product, you're this confident in your service, you're this confident that you guys can have people beating down my door, which is what you told me, your words exactly. You called me and said, hey, can you take more clients? That was the first thing you said to me. And then I said, yes. And they said, well, can you take 30 more clients or 50 more clients? Like, what's your max? I said, well, I can take as many as you can send me. Okay. Well, look, we can do this for you. Say, okay, cool. You know what? I'm so excited to hear that there's a company out there finally that can help me get clients. It's so funny because the only person that's been getting me clients is me, and I do need help with that. And since you guys are so confident that you're going to be able to do this for me, then you guys would have no problem doing this for a week for free to prove to me that you can get me clients. Oh, we don't do a free week. We can't do that. We can't do a free week. No, you would have to pay for it. So, well, you know what? I'm not going to pay for it because you haven't proven to me that you can get me anybody. All you're proving to me is that you're really good at trying to have me give you money, but you've proven nothing, literally. And I would tell them, like, all these companies told me the same thing, man. And guess how many clients they got me? None. You guys have proven to be nothing different than any other company. In fact, you're saying the exact same things every other company says to me. They're all selling me the same product. They're all selling me the same service. They're all saying literally the same thing you're saying. Maybe in a few different words, but same idea. Same idea. So if you really believe and you're confident in what your company can do, then you guys can definitely do a free week, because in that free week, you can get me 5, 6, 8, 10 clients. Here's the thing, and this is something I need for you guys to understand. Do marketing, advertising, do sales in your own company for a couple days, right? Have a good understanding. Run your own campaign. Do something yourself so you have a gauge. What did it cost you to get the client time-wise? Maybe you run a Facebook ad and you put $100 behind it. Do some things for yourself so you have an understanding. See, this is what I did. So I went and I learned all this stuff about marketing, advertising, sales, SEO, social, all this stuff. I learned this stuff so that when I actually ran my own campaign, my own time, I took my own time, took a couple days, figured out how I want to do this whole thing. I ran my own campaign. I actually got customers in the door that day. I actually signed up 10 clients. On the first day, I completely ran my own campaign. I did everything. And I got 10 people to sign up to train with me. 10. At an average of $200 a month. I made myself $2,000 in a day. In a day. So now when these companies will call me and say, well, we just can't do it. It takes a week to set all this up. We got to do this, that, and the other thing. I just know that they're just selling me this. Lots of words. No actions, man. What it is, it's a way for them to pass off results. Oh, we're not guaranteeing results. We're just saying this is what we can do. 95% of our customers stick with us year after year. There's always some story. They're always beating around the bush. There's always some excuse or whatever. If they're not going to give you free marketing and advertising for a week so you can see how many customers they can bring into your door, do not use them. Period. I don't care what story they're going to sell you. I've heard it all. I'm telling you right now, do not use them. If I personally, Stephen Basita, call you one day and I'm like, hey, you know what? I do business consulting. I'd love to help you out and grow your business. I can definitely help you with the marketing, advertising, and sales side. I would expect for you right then there to be like, I want a free week. Like, perfect. Now, the only exception I make to this, as far as the whole free week is concerned, is I'm still getting a free week, but, there's a big but, I am spending the money on the Facebook ads or the Instagram ads or whatever it is, right? That's fine. I'll do that. If you're going to give me the free week, I'll pay the $150 for the money they put behind your advertisement. They create, they make, they do all that work. I'll pay the money for it to be on there. Because if it works, right? Because that's the other thing. If it works, I want to use your service. And I have done that and it has worked. I actually have the guy that I have marketing my basketball club now actually came to me to market my gym. Now, we did do a couple of things with him. It did yield some results. It wasn't the results we thought it was going to, all that. But really hardworking guy. I really liked what he was doing. And I worked out a good deal with him. I mean, it's a great deal for him now because I've been paying him more money every month for like 6-7 months now. I mean, he does a great job. But he's worth it because I've seen his impact in my business for basketball. It is amazing. We are doing incredibly, incredibly well as far as lead generation, all that kind of stuff. So look, I have no qualms with him. He's proven, and I'll pay money. If you can prove what you're selling me, I'll pay the money because there's one of me. I need to delegate things out. That's what a business owner should be doing. You should be working on the business, not for the business. What do I mean by that? And it's the same thing at home in a lot of ways. And I'll kind of explain, but working on the business and not for the business. When you're working on the business, you're working on ways to continue to grow, progress, build, scale up, multiply. All that helps with finances too, right? If you're able to do those things financially, again, put away money so that you can withstand what a coronavirus type thing is like. And just like for your home, going back to it, you should be working within and on the family structure, on the home, right? You should be working on the things that are going to benefit, right? Not working in the little nitty gritty things, right? What do I mean by that? Look, if your wife and you work full-time jobs and you're constantly busy, or you're an entrepreneur, listen, man, pay for a housekeeper once a month. I promise it'll be great for your marriage. Your wife, she knows she can get some help. It's great. Okay. Then you kind of just do the maintenance stuff and you're not spending all this time, right? Look, I grew up frugal. Like I said, I grew up poor, low income, middle, low income. My parents had 3 kids. We did all the chores, washed the cars, did the yard work, cleaned the house, did the dishes, made meals, all that stuff. My parents did some stuff too, but my parents, they had a list for me and both my sisters every single day, different lists, and on the weekend we get a list. So do yourself a favor, right? Work on your marriage, right? Take your wife out on a date night, or your husband, do things together, be a family, enjoy stuff. Don't always just come home and on the weekend all you're doing is chores. And it's right back to another week of work, right? You want to make your marriage successful. I don't think many people get married for the sake of just, I want to be married and here we are. People typically get married because they want to be married to a person, and they want to be married to that person for what I would assume would be till death do you part. So on the financial side, figure out where you can make the right cuts and where you can save money. On your businesses, make the right cuts, figure out where you can save money. What are good costs? What are justified? Justify your stuff, right? Like we justify Netflix because my wife and I at night go to bed and like to watch an hour of TV before it falls. For me, it's like 15 minutes. For my wife, it's like 2 hours, right? I fall asleep right away. I work long hours, long days. TV comes on and I'm done. But we have it because, we do have a daughter too. And during times like today, where I'm sure you could probably hear her in the background running around the house and screaming and all kinds of stuff, it's great for her. We have Netflix and we have the Disney Plus, right, which is $5 a month. We have that because she can watch Disney movies and she can do things when we're busy working, which is important, right? So we justify our costs. We justify our expenses. We do it in business. My business partner and I, last year, we sat down and I was like, look, we got to figure out where we're spending our money. What is our money going towards? And I need you to justify to me every expense that we have. My business partner printed off everything we had, and we went down every single thing. I said, I need you to justify this to me. Why do we have it? We cut out $3,500 a month of expenses doing that. $3,500. I just saved us I saved us $42,000 for the year because I found all these little things that we had that you couldn't justify. They weren't doing anything for us. And we were able to take some of that money and allocate towards things that are building our business, making us more money. So again, look, at the home front and the business front, look, if you're at work and you just work a 9 to 5 and you know how much money you make and how much your wife makes or your husband makes or your partner makes, whoever that is, then that's simple. Put it on a spreadsheet. You know what your incomes are. Deduct taxes and health insurance, wherever you have. Like, what do you bring home every paycheck, right? Let's make it easy. Let's say each of you bring home $2,000 every 2 weeks. So you make $4,000. You make $8,000 a month, right? So you're making $96,000 a year. Now backtrack. What's your mortgage cost a year per month, right? What's your car payment a year per month? So you know that the two of you make $96,000 a year, right? And you've got everything broken monthly. Then figure out all of your expenses monthly and then what those equal to a year. So let's just say all of your expenses combined. Cell phone bills, car payments, house payment, HOA if you have one, internet, cell phones, food, gas, right? The essential stuff, right? All those things. You figure out what does all that cost, right? So gas, you need gas to get in from work, I'm assuming, right? But maybe not everybody does, but let's say you do. Let's say you need gas for your cars. Car insurance, health insurance, life insurance, house payments. Remember, put everything on a spreadsheet. Let's say that all of your must-haves, right? Groceries, all that kind of stuff. Your must-haves. Let's say that equals, I don't know, $70,000 a year. Okay, so you have plus $26,000 a year to do something with, right? Okay, now you get into some of the luxury things you want to do and stuff, but the point is, of that 26, let's say that 13,000 is luxury stuff or whatever. Take the other 13,000, put it in a savings account, let it sit there, man. Right? Like, what's your monthly nut you have to cover every month? You have to cover, and have that for 3 months or 4 months. Set aside into a separate account you cannot touch. It's going to make your life easier. The same for business, right? The same thing. So as you're doing all this stuff, look, I just want to encourage you guys and girls, ladies, men, whoever's watching this, I want to encourage you. Take the time to do this stuff now. It doesn't matter what phase of life you're in or where you're at in your business or anything. Do it now. Just do it now. Then it's done, and it's something off your plate, and you can start seeing tangible things, and you can start making real decisions based on those facts, based on those numbers. It'll benefit you, I promise. It'll help, especially going, look, we've got the Corona thing going on right now. After it's all over, start over. Here you go. Now go running with it. Figure it out. And that way you're better prepared in the future for if something like this ever happens again. Look, it's been great hanging out with you guys. I really hope that this helped. Please, 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 if you have any questions, comments, concerns, hit me up. My Instagram is SSBESEDA. Again, that is S for Sam, B for Brian, S for Sam, D for David, A. Hit me up on Instagram. I respond to all my messages. I love having you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope it was beneficial for you. And I'll be looking forward to your feedback. You're with Get It with Steven Basita. Have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.
You said I'll probably send you some pics, and I'm like, hell no.
Just want to let you know this podcast is sponsored in part by Functional Sports Performance. FSPIrvine.com. Get in the best shape of your life.
I want that cruise.